Hi, my friends. Welcome back to Healing Together. I hope you're enjoying our conversation with Dan and Kathy. They're dear, dear friends of ours. Thank you so much for coming along, and we are extremely happy with the number of views. Our second episode is the highest. It has 127 views. The one thing that I do want to mention is with 127 views, it only has 2 likes. Now, it doesn't have any dislikes, so we appreciate that. But if you could, and why don't you right now while I'm talking about it, why don't you reach up there and hit that like button? You do not have to be subscribed to our channel. You do not have to have a subscription to YouTube. You can just simply reach up there and hit that like button. It helps Dan and Kathy's story to run up further in the suggestions on the side of what you see on YouTube. So if you would, please reach up there, hit that like button. If you have your own login for YouTube, which is free, please hit the subscribe button. That's how we grow our channel, is by subscriptions. And thank you so much for being here. I hope that it is helping you to find hope, find Jesus, to understand that in the midst of whatever we are in, Jesus is there to help us. Today we're going to hear the story of 3 houses. This is going to be interesting, and we're going to do a little bit of laughing in the very first part of this. So please come along and hear the story of 3 houses. Following that, on this video, Dan is going to speak to us about the pitfalls and the harm and the curse of pornography, and not leave us there, but to leave us with steps to protect yourself from the evils of that. At the end of this video, I am going to make a very special announcement, so stick around to the end, and I hope you enjoy the conversation that we have today. Here's Dan to talk about 3 houses. Thank you.
Good. Nice.
So you put your marriage back together and bought 3 houses. Tell us about that.
Gee, many people.
Well, didn't buy 3. Well, I guess it kind
Yes,
of.
we did.
Yeah.
You had them, right? They were 3.
God turned our finance, not only our marriage, but our finances around, because we were able in '97 to build a house, not buy a house, but build a house, which was a miraculous thing anyways, being in Illinois. We built a house, God opened the doors for that to happen, to get into a place. We were in there for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, maybe 8 years or so, 9 years almost. Well, somewhere in there, we had started.
We bought the house in Florida to
Bought
retire.
the house in Florida to retire to. And so it was going to be a place that was on like an hour and a half from Disney, and just a great place to go to. And so we we ended up having a situation with some family members that we were going to have come live with us. And so we decided we'd been supporting them financially up until that particular time, 5 years prior. We were helping them financially. So we decide, okay, we'll sell our house we're in. This is in Illinois, still have the Florida house, and we'll end up having or build a bigger house for these people to come in and stay with us. Well, I didn't sign it. We didn't sign a contingency.
Dumb and Dumber here.
This was in 2008 when the economy took a dive. So, long story short, we ended up having 3 house payments because we couldn't sell the other one. We still had the Florida house, and we were in a mess. Especially when your property taxes between the 3 places, the Illinois were the worst. We were at probably $30,000 a year. Property taxes, at least at that time. I don't know. It's only by the grace of God we made it, because
We almost went bankrupt because I lost my job in there too.
Yeah.
And the people that were going to move in with us decided not to, and it actually caused a break in a relationship in the family, and that was hard. That was the hardest part, was because I don't do broken family relationships very well. That was hard. That was very hard. And we thought we were going to have to go bankrupt. And I'm telling you, when you have also God placed in our life friends for life. In Illinois, I'm telling you, we've got like 6 or 7 sets of friends that they have been through hell and back with us. And they do it with a smile on their face and prayer in their heart. And they were concerned about us. They loved us through all of it and prayed us through all. There wasn't anything they could do. I mean, none of them had enough to buy a house for us or take it off of our plate, but they were just there. They never left us. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing.
One thing that I want to interject here, back to the time that we had gotten back together, and before we were in the patio home. The church that we were attending, Calvary Church there, ended up, we were in a small group, and I had gone to pick up Seth. I think he was at wrestling practice or something, and they always had theirs on Saturday evening.
And it happened to be at our house that time.
Happened to be at our house at night. And the leader asked us, he sensed something wasn't right after I had left. He said, Kathy, there's just something I'm sensing that's not right here, with you and Dan. He says, so she broke down and started crying because of our finances, still trying to get out of the mess that I had basically created. And she told him, and they were the head of our pantry, our food pantry. Now again, it was a large church, and they can't help everybody out all the time because it's financially impossible. But they were head of the food pantry, and this was a Saturday. That next day, Sunday, we were sitting down to eat, and the thing we had was hot dogs and macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni and cheese. That's what I could afford.
Just something simple. That's about all we had. We didn't have much. And there was a knock on the door after we got done eating. And here it was this gentleman and another guy from our group. And they had bags and bags of groceries. I mean, down to the nitty-gritty with kids' lunches, things for women, things just, you knew women had to be involved in the packing. And usually on an average, they'll help a family out for 30 days. They helped us out for 4 months. And in that week. 4 months is when, I thought about this the other day, because I think it was March of '92 when I got the promotion to supervisor, and they had gone till April. So don't tell me that wasn't a God thing.
That's right.
It got us financially back on track, and then our whole world just kind of flipped upside down, or flipped side up, I guess, whichever way you look. Didn't flip upside down, but it flipped to where our finances started taking off. And
I do remember that in that when we first got back together and we were in that patio home, that we always were able to pay our bills, but they were always late. They were just always late. We didn't have the money on the time, And we got a call from Discover Card, And I have tried to find this person, and I can't find her. Her name was Michelle Legg. That's all I know from Discover Card. She's probably not there anymore. And she was so kind. And she said, I've just noticed that your account is, you always pay it, but it's always delinquent. It's always a little bit late. She said, is there any way we can help? Is there something going on? And I started to cry. And I said, we just don't have enough to live in Illinois. We just don't make enough. And she suggested, I don't know if they even still have it, it was Combined Community Services. And it was a place that you could go and they would talk to your creditors and they would stop all the interest and
stuff.
So we went there. And, because of Michelle Legg, she suggested that. And we went in, and you're supposed to present everything that you owe and everything. And I started to cry in front of this Indian woman that was helping us. And she looked at our stuff and she said, oh, honey, I've seen so much worse than this. You're going to be fine. And the only thing that she questioned was our tithe. That was the only thing she questioned. And she said, if you didn't donate this to the church, we could use this. And I said, you can touch anything else. You can do anything else and tell us anything else, but you can't touch that. We need to do that. And she said, okay. And I truly believe that God honored that because it was supposed to take us 3 years, right?
3 years.
To pay off all the creditors the way they had it set up, and it took us
1 year.
1 year. And everything, God just, you don't want to come at me with there's no God. You just don't.
I think we've talked about it too. I think a lot of times it's almost like God says, okay, that's enough.
Yeah. That's what I tell people
You know.
too, is that all God has to do is say, enough. And it's done. Your world can change like that. Ours have a million times. It's like God said, enough, Satan, on their marriage. And it changed. Enough, Satan, on their finances. And it changed. I'm waiting for him to say enough on a couple more things.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to get out from underneath the houses? Did they just sell?
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually it took 2 years. The one house, the Florida house, we ended up selling, which we'd never had to sell that one, but we did. That one only took 4 months to sell. The other house, because of 2008, well, it was actually the beginning of 2007, somewhere in there. Anyways, it took 2 years to sell, and it finally sold. But we had to sell it for a lot less, but we still made a profit because we had some money in it. So, but had we not had to sell that, if the family that was supposed to be coming with us would have worked out differently, then we wouldn't have been in the situation. We wouldn't have had to build a bigger house, and we could have had that house paid off that we were in, because we were on a 15-year note and paying a lot more for a bigger house. But we ended up getting it down to one house payment.
It teaches you. It teaches you what not to do ever again.
Well, and I think too, you realize, we've talked about it many times, that we know that wasn't a God thing for this to happen with
The house thing.
the family moving in. Yeah, the family members moving in with us, because it wouldn't have worked out and would have caused some major problems. But because it did, it's just.
But God restored the relationship, and we give him all the glory for that. All the glory for that. The relationship was restored. The love was restored. Everything. That's worth the 3 house payments.
So Dan, you want to back up and share some things about back with the pornography topic?
Yeah, there's a couple things. One is there was 2 books. I I can't remember the second one.
Running all the red lights.
Running the red lights, and the second one I don't remember, but both were written by pastors. Which you think a pastor should never struggle with pornography because they're a pastor. Well, none of us are exempt. But that just showed me that just because they're pastors doesn't mean they struggle. So that made me realize the importance of getting into the Word more and studying the Word. And I know these guys, even the one pastor, said in his book, he said, I could quote Scripture after Scripture. But just because you can quote Scripture after Scripture doesn't mean Satan's going to give up on you. Matter of fact, he's probably going to attack you more.
Exactly.
And then the other thing I've had to do is learn to have boundaries. I have covenant eyes on my phones. I have covenant eyes on my iPad. And I just, on things that I know can be a temptation, I have accountability partners. Kathy included is one of those, because every report that's weekly goes to her. So she knows if something's out there that it comes to her. And it's a freedom knowing that I can look at something and not have to worry about it, by having that accountability. And then again, like you said, having the accountability partners. You need somebody to help you, because you got to realize you're not in this battle alone. That there's people out there that can help you, that can strengthen you, that can encourage you, that can be a support for you. And I remember, we didn't talk about it, but I remember the night I had brought my confession to a group of people, and one of these is very close friends of ours to this day, that she gave me the scripture, and I'm going to read it. It's 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 5, or 3 through 6. It says, For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds. We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ, being ready to punish every disobedience when your obedience is complete. And I don't know how many times I've quoted the scripture when the enemies come in from my past and try to bring something into mind, and how quickly that will flee. And maybe there's many times I have to quote it because of my past, but I know that getting into the Word and having these scriptures available to remember and to refer to and to memorize whatever is a strength. And then, like I said, having those accountability partners, having the people that can help you. And then also, one of the things I've had to do, especially being a man, is when I was in management, after I got back into management, after we got back together, was putting boundaries up, because when I would talk to the opposite sex, it was either the door would be open or we'd go down to the lunchroom. And it wasn't so much, the thought about this, it wasn't so much maybe for their benefit as it was for my benefit, to protect myself, because I didn't want to open the door for me again, because I knew my past. And I think there's a lot of men out there that are not willing to do that, think that the past is gone, but you don't know how the enemy can use that again and put that thought in your head, and then you open the door again. So hopefully these are some things that can really help you out in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. So we've been through those tumultuous years. We've been through those 3 house payments and threatening bankruptcy, and then everything just flowed real easy after that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because life's real easy.
Life's just peachy.
I guess the word there is flow. Yeah. Things just didn't flow very well at all, did they? Did they? So share the next place that God had to bring you through.
Well,
that's where we're going to leave off. Thank you, Dan, for having the courage enough to speak to us about the evils the curses and how to set borders against pornography in our life. I appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. As you heard, we are going to touch next on the next topic will be a lack of flow. So I'm going to leave that with you to let you try to figure out what we're talking about there in that. Please come back on Friday and you will hear another amazing story, part of why they went to Illinois and how God used their trip to Illinois to literally save their lives. So come back, my friends, on Friday. If you have not hit that like button, I would really appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. We would love for you to be a permanent part of our channel. We would appreciate that. We bring all sorts of different stories. And so please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notifications bell. We would appreciate all of that. I told you we were going to make a very special announcement. I am so happy to announce this video comes out on Tuesday. On Sunday, following this video coming out on November, I believe it's the 4th, Labor Day weekend, I will be sharing at Summit Church here in Niles, my home church. I will be sharing a message of hope and a message including part of the story of my burns. It will be talking about scars because that's where God has me focused right now. So if you are in the Niles area and you are around on Sunday morning, either at 9 or 10:45, we would love to have you come and to be a part of the service. And Lord willing, and my knee don't give out, and you know I've just went through knee surgery, I will be sharing in both services a little bit of the scars that I have, other people have, biblical characters have, and Jesus has. So come along. Bring your scars with you because I think God's going to have something in store for you. Thank you so much, my friend, for stopping by Healing Together. We appreciate you being here. We hope you've enjoyed this. Check out some of the other videos, and we will see you back here on Friday morning with another story of hope and how God works in our lives, specifically Dan and Kathy's. God bless, my friend. Thank you for stopping by.